The following announcement has been paid for by Perched on the Top Rope.
Hi, this is Steve Kern, Fabulous One, Skinner, Doink, whatever you want to call me. I've been a lot of them. But I'm with Lee Walker III, and we're on Perched on the Top Rope. Come on, watch and listen.
I also was going to ask about Yoshitatsu, as he's the first, if I'm right, he was the first international star to come over from Japan for WWE and FCW.
Right.
And I'm actually his co-host for his podcast.
No kidding.
Yoshi Unleashed. So when it comes to Yoshi, I've just got a couple of questions in regards to, how difficult was it to work with him with the language barrier, since he didn't really speak English?
I started going to Japan in '74. And everybody I wrestled over there was very limited on English. And I learned the language that I used. I mean, I've wrestled in Guatemala and places when I was just 19 years old. They didn't speak English, they spoke Spanish. And I learned this language that works pretty much everywhere. It's called American Indian. It's like you go to a store and you go, "You got 'em watch?" And you just try to accentuate what you're trying to get across. And hopefully you can kind of lead into things by descriptions more than having to worry about actually focusing on the language. When I retired, there was a couple of things I really wanted to do with my life. One was I wanted to learn to speak Spanish fluently as a second language. I went 3 years, took classes, did Duolingo on my phone every day. I got a vocabulary that's unbelievable. I can't carry on a sentence thing. I can't formulate sentences, and I sure can't keep up with them. And then I dealt with dialects. I had a guy from Colombia teach me and a lady from Puerto Rico. Talk about two different languages. It was like talking to somebody from Mobile, Alabama, and talking to somebody from New Jersey. So there was such a problem with it. I also wanted to learn to play an instrument too, because I always felt like, hey, you know what? I'd be a pretty cool guy in a band. I mean, I'm an entertainer. There's nothing on the stage that frightens me. You can't embarrass me. I mean, I've been a heel. How can you embarrass Skinner or Doink the Clown? I mean, so I'd be a great musician. And I tried unbelievable to play a guitar, and I'd get frustrated. But it boils back to what we talked about earlier when you were talking about being able to fix things because that you have some education with home repairs and stuff. And I do not. And I can't fix things. Here's the problem I have. I hate directions. When you hand me a book of directions, I'll just look at it. If I can't figure it out, I hand that same book over to my wife. Here, this is something you need to put together because I can't figure this out. I just don't like directions. And if it's more than 2 or 3 lines, forget it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So when it came to Yoshi, coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling, completely different style than here in America, how well did he adapt? Was there any difficulty in training?
Well, of course there is. There's not only a difference so far as styles and language, but there's a difference in education, what he was used to, what he witnessed. I mean, Japan wrestling is not the same as the United States. And when you're a young wrestler and you go to Japan, it's almost like a culture war. I mean, you go from people yelling and screaming and everything to over there, they watch the whole thing and then they give you a golf clap at the end where they are, and you're going, what? That's it? So anyway, I mean, he went through a lot of, education, but he was trying so hard. The thing about it is I hate to say that it's easy for anybody because it's not, but it was more difficult when you have a language barrier and the style barrier. And like I was saying earlier, basically the issues that he was having was his education and what he saw growing up and what he was used to, and what he felt was, comparable for Japan is not WWE. I mean, or WWF. And it's more entertainment and more showmanship in our business over here in the United States than it is in Japan. Now they've altered and things have changed and progress has changed it quite a bit, but there was quite a bit of difficulty in communication so far as trying to tell him the difference, because he would be kind of boring when he go out and he'd depend on movement. And here's where I'm at right now. When people ask me, says, what's the difference between territorial days and nowadays? What's the difference in the wrestling from back then and now? And I try to give them something simple, and it kind of correlates with what this is in territorial days, we wrestled in the same city 52 times a year. We wrestled 7 nights a week, and we wrestled usually 1 or 2 TVs, depending on what territory you're working. But your education was a continuous flow. Now, with Japan, they never wrestled that long. So when we go over there, it was a big difference. Now, WWE wrestles in the same city maybe once or twice a year. So the Japanese people have to come back in front of the same audiences over and over again. So they have to be very careful of what they did in the past and what they're going to do. And so WWE, there was never that worry. And you're trying to get him to relax a little bit more character-wise when he's tensed up because of the language barrier, and he's tensed up because of the style transition. So he had a lot of things fighting against him. I mean, this is not an easy business to learn, and English is not an easy language, but both of them have to be obtained if you're going to be in a company that, you're at the top of the list as far as wrestling in the world. And so his issues were language, transition to the style, and just associating with what's really going on. I mean, to me, I'd have to tell him, I would pull videos out of people like Macho Man. Randy and I are really close friends, but he was a great example of a showman. I go, look at this guy coming to the ring. Do you see Japanese guys coming to the ring like this? I said, just his costume. Just his outfit. He's already coming entertaining you, and he ain't even done nothing yet. Now he's going to get in the ring, and he's going to, awe you by whatever he does out there, by the fact that, his appearance, his whole persona is a character. Japanese people are more, I don't know how they're stiffer, they're straighter, they're, I don't know, maybe more humble than American wrestling is.